appreciate you guys. Oh, walk-up music.
Grab
Go.
a piece of paper and pencil, take some notes, everybody.
Yeah, no, super excited to be here. Oh, hey! No, super excited to be here. One of the things, I've been in sales for the last 2 decades. Been fortunate enough to be around some really great leaders and just learned a lot from really top performers. And when I talk about top performers, these are people who not only were top performers in their role, but in life, had purpose for their life. And that to me is what's more important than anything else. You can be a top performer and do some really good things for a short amount of time. But the key is, right, how do you sustain and drive performance long term, forever? So there were kind of 4 different things I'm going to share with you guys today that I saw top performers do over the last 2 decades. Super fortunate to be a part of Intuit. Anyone ever heard of Intuit, TurboTax, QuickBooks? So I was fortunate to start my career kind of there after being in the nonprofit world for a decade, and went into that, and it was super fun because we grew our division from 10 million to 100 million in 2.5 years. So I got the opportunity to be around some really great leaders. And then a handful of us left. We started a company called Sojern. It was a digital advertising data mining company. There were 5 of us, got to grow it to 600 employees. The company just sold for $250 million. And so over those 12 to 15 years, again, there were these patterns that I saw in top performers that allowed them to be successful in life. So I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about that. As you guys know, Logan's my son. This just came to me this morning. It was funny. I was thinking about one of my favorite Logan moments. And how many of you guys know Luke? Luke's my oldest, so he's doing a lot of stuff. So I was at the gym. Logan was probably 3. Logan was 4.5. They're only 18 months apart. And so I was at the gym, and I get the announcement, Chad Ralphs, please come to the daycare. And I'm like, oh, great. What do these guys do? They were always like roughhousing, doing just crazy stuff, being crazy brothers. And I walk into like the daycare area, and I see, and this lady is holding, one of the workers is holding Luke. And he's crying, he's mad, little 4-year-old little Luke, and he's crying. And there's this little kid sitting in a chair kind of in the back of the room, and he's like this. He's got this like dirty look on his face, and she's like, I don't know what happened. This kid over here, he just punched your kid right in the face and like whatever. And as she's telling me this, I see little 3-year-old Logan comes crawling up from the back, and he boom, pops this kid right in the back of the face and then takes off running. And like, as a parent, I was like, no. Oh, that was awesome. And so since a young age, Logan he just always had people's back. Like, he's like, I got your back. I got you, and even his brother's back. And so super fun, awesome characteristic of Logan, super fun story that I love. But I want to share with you guys what are you can write this down, the 4 P's of high performers who actually lived with purpose. Gave you a lot of P's right there, a lot of P's. I want you guys to think about one of the best leaders that you've ever been around. What made you want to follow them? Whether it was a parent, maybe it was a coach, maybe it's someone in this room. What are some of the characteristics that made you want to follow them? Why did you want to follow them? And so the first one that I saw over and over again from high performers is perspective. They had really dynamic perspective in all situations. In that perspective, and as I started to dive into that, why do they have such good perspective? Why do they understand what's going on? Why do they kind of know how to communicate, when to say things, when not to say things, when to push, when to pull back? And I realized it was humility. Guys, write this down. Humility is a superpower. If you and I can tap in and learn and understand the value and the importance of humility, it is going to take you so far in life, over and over again. Because if you're humble, then you're teachable. And if you're teachable, then you're going to continue to learn, you're going to continue to grow, and you're going to continue to have impact beyond. And I saw that over and over and over again. So as you guys are growing, as you guys are learning, having this humility to say, I can get better. I can grow. I want to learn. And as you guys, how many of you guys in here are recruiting others or someday want to recruit others into the business, right? Big part of it. Look for people who are humble. Because if they're humble, they're going to be teachable, and you're going to be able to mold them, and you're going to be able to help them grow. So a big piece of that is perspective. Second thing is personal ownership. Second piece is personal ownership. So as I saw this over and over again, is they live this life of no excuses, no complaints, and they take personal ownership for not only their own selves, but for the people around them. They actually become great team players and great team leaders. Have you ever been around great people who are really good teammates? What do? They serve the people around them. They invest into them. They help them get better. One of the things, there's a lie in the world that says, you can go, there's a lie that says, if I just go super, super fast and I just crush everyone around me, I'm going to be super successful. What you find out in life for high performers who live a long-lasting life of impact, they're great team players. They pour in and they invest into one another. A big piece of being a great team player is also being accountable. Write down accountability. Being accountable to the people around you, being accountable to your leadership, being accountable to yourself. One of the cool things, and I just constantly saw this with these high performers. They were just super accountable to being really, really good. Third P is positivity. It is amazing what positivity can do. When you make the choice that you're going to get up every morning and you're going to be grateful, you're going to be thankful for the breath that's in your lungs, that you're going to get some time to lean in and go, what am I grateful? What am I thankful for? That's just going to create this positivity, this gratitude. And I saw that over and over again. High performers who had long-lasting impact, they just had positivity. They had positivity in their life, and that comes from being grateful. And that also made them great team players, right? Also made them have really good perspective. It's just interesting how all these things would flow together. And the fourth thing was personal growth. They were so driven to be their absolute best, become their best selves. And one of the things that I saw over and over again with these high performers is they had created routines and disciplines that made massive impact. I've got a framework that I use. It's called my Win the Morning framework. I wake up early. I have this word of gratefulness and gratitude, kind of words of affirmation. First thing I do when I get in the morning, look at myself in the mirror, and I just say, Lord, thanks for giving me another day to be here, to be on this earth. These are your hands. These are your feet. How can I honor and glorify you with everything that I do? How can I invest in others? How can I impact others? How can I add value to others? I know I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. My faith is the foundation piece of everything that I do. But having that conversation with yourself mentally and have that gratitude of another day is huge. Then for me, because my faith is so critical, I grab the Word of God before my phone. That's the first thing that I grab. That's the most inspirational book in my life. Whatever that is for you, get in something. Have a book. Have something that's going to inspire you. That's going to get you going. And then write. Journal. I'll tell you, this is the biggest unlock of self-awareness and growth. When I started doing this, my growth went through the roof, is journaling. Because as you're journaling, you're processing. You're processing things that are going on in your life. You're processing the things that you're learning. You're processing the areas of growth and impact that you want to have. So this will impact and change you outside of choosing to live a life of humility, journaling will change everything. Logan and I had lunch with Chad Johnson, which we should get him over here sometime. He's awesome. He loves porn. He's John Maxwell. How many of you guys know who John Maxwell is? John Maxwell's written over 100-some books. He keynote speaker, really great leader, dynamic guy. Probably $75,000 to $100,000 a keynote is what John Maxwell charges. And it's just because he's that good. He's just unbelievable. But Chad Johnson was his chief of staff for 23 years. And he just served him and invested in him. And now he's got high capacity mentorship group, all kinds of things. Logan and I had lunch with him on Friday. He actually moved here to Franklin, so he's in town now, and he's amazing. But he said that was one of the biggest unlocks for him was journaling. So write down journaling. And so as you guys think about personal growth, as you think about development, find that. And then I get in the Word, I write, and I go work out. Get your body going. Get it going. I mean, if you can do it in the morning, everyone has different rhythms and different things that they do. Figure out those routines and those rhythms. But for me, getting up, getting in the Word, getting a good workout in just impacts everything. And then the I of win the morning is I try and inspire someone inside my family and outside my family by 10 a.m. Send a text, send a voicemail. Do something to inspire someone else. When you and I start thinking about how we can serve, how we can add value to other people, that momentum that you start to get, you build those routines of getting up, getting inspired, inspiring other people, getting your body going, you start to get this momentum that is absolutely unbelievable. And then the end is no excuses. Live an unoffendable life. Figure out what are your needle moving activities as well. What are the things that you got to accomplish today that you got to get done? As you start to create these, and whatever that is for you, right? This is a routine that's worked really well for me over the last couple decades. And as you start to figure out what are your rhythms, what are the routines that are going to help you become your best self. And as you guys become the leaders that you want to be, you got to ask the question as you're recruiting, as you're training, as you're developing people, are you the type of leader that somebody would want to follow? Are you the type of leader that someone would want to follow? That's what I love about Austin is got to know him a little bit, really got to know him a lot through Logan. As you guys see, you guys are probably thinking, yeah, this is a guy who's humble, this is a guy who's focused, this is a guy who's driven, and you want to be around people that are like that, right? The surroundings, the people that you get around are going to help elevate you. And it was fun. I was talking to Luke and Logan a couple years ago. And I've been in sales for 2 decades, sold over $100 million in sales, I've absolutely loved it because I really believe that sales is serving because you really figure out what someone needs and you help meet that need for them. And I was telling these guys a couple years ago, I'm like, if I could go back and do it all over again, and I've had a really great career, seen some really good impact in my life, I'd said I would do exactly what Logan's doing right now. I would be in this room right here. I would be doing what you guys are doing because you're having this opportunity to build a business. You're having this opportunity to create impact. You're having this opportunity to create residuals, ongoing. One of the things you learn about if you've been in sales or haven't been in sales for a long time, usually what happens, if you go work for a company in sales, they put a limit on your head. They make this, and this has happened to me multiple times, where they're like, all right, you live in Omaha, Nebraska. We're going to allow you to make $500,000 a year. But you live in Omaha, Nebraska. You don't need to make more than $500,000 a year, even though the pace and the things that I was selling allowed me to make $1 million a year. They will change your commission plan because they don't want you to. That's what I love about what you guys are doing. It's uncapped. You can go and build, and you don't need to worry about someone all of a sudden changing, right, on you guys. You get to build it, you get to grow it, and you get to be your own owners. And so this is exactly where I would be if I was going to redo it all over again. So hopefully those things were impactful for you guys. I don't know if I got a few minutes. I wanted to just answer questions for you guys, have it kind of give you this opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. Yeah, Logan, Merritt.
So I've tried journaling before.
Yeah.
But I always just find it like, I don't know, I just always give up on it.
Yeah.
Or I feel like it's actually like helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are some ways, I guess like an example on how to journal
Yeah.
to get the most out of it?
Yeah, that's good. Well, one for me is I always put the date in there. It helps me because I'll kind of say, hey, what's going on in my life? You know, just a few sentences. Hey, hung out with Logan in Nashville. It was awesome. We had this really good show pizza, blah, 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 whatever. So I might have some of that in there. What also helps me too, because I tied to my faith, so I'm like, okay, these are the verses that I'm reading. This is what I'm learning from that perspective. So that's a big piece of it. And then in there, I always have, what are my 3 needle moving activities? What are the 3 things that I got to get done, that I got to accomplish today? And what did I really learn yesterday? So I think if you kind of have that rhythm, and you have to have this impact of, how am I learning? What am I learning? It's all about getting better and better. So that's kind of a little bit of the rhythm for me, and then it also keeps me going back to it, because the other piece that I do in my journal time too, Logan, is I do my goals. I look at my goals. How am I doing on my goals? So I'm revisiting that as well. And for those of you who don't know, Logan was on my basketball team in middle school, so I had the double Logans. We used to call him Scrappy. He was super scrappy, intense. It was awesome. Dude, we rolled some boys. First year we were terrible. Next couple years we got good. So, yeah. And I can send some more on that, and I'll give you guys an opportunity. I'll send you guys these notes and everything. You can go to chadrelfs.com is my website, and I can send to Austin as well. I'll give you guys at least some notes to follow, but... Yeah, that's usually what I do.
I have a question as well.
Yeah.
So you talked about the 4 P's for high performers of the purpose, and the first one was perspective, and you said that having that great perspective comes from humility.
Yeah.
I feel like if you ask anybody, they would say that they're humble. If they're talking about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
What are some like practical ways to grow in humility?
Mm-hmm.
If maybe you aren't naturally,
Yeah.
you've been not humble for the last 20 years of your life, how do you
Yeah.
kind of grow in humility?
Yeah. I think journaling, again, is a big piece of it. It's becoming self-aware, right? Self-awareness helps with humility. Gratitude helps with humility. As you're grateful and thankful for what you're doing, as you're constantly learning and wanting to grow, that all always flows out of humility. Because when we start thinking we've got it all, we've figured it all out, right? That's pride. Pride comes before the fall. And so I think a big piece of just continuing to become your best self and getting better and better helps from a humility perspective. The other piece is serving others. I mean, if you've got a mindset in your life, my why, the reason why I do what I do is to teach and live out the Ralph's family values. We created these Ralph's family values years ago. Those were our core values, right? To passionately pursue my God, passionately pursue my wife, and to add value to others and help them lead and achieve more than they could ever think or imagine. So my why, my purpose in life is to add value to others. And so I think if you are thinking about others more than yourself, that's going to naturally kind of squish down some of that pride, because you're going, I haven't figured it all out. I'm still learning. I'm still growing, and I'm trying to take other people along with me. Other questions?
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
So you talk about positivity. It's really easy to be positive when you're selling 10K in a day or just made
Yeah.
a sale. What are some ways that you remain positive when negativity rears its ugly head?
Yeah, that's good. And Tyler is one of the best question askers ever. If you want to grow and you want to learn, ask a lot of questions. It's key. And not only that, when you ask good, thoughtful questions of others, your people like you. We went to Lincoln together, dropped these guys off at a game, And Tyler just asked all these questions the whole time. I hardly even got to hear anything. I hardly got to learn anything about Tyler because he asked me questions for a whole hour driving there. And we got out of the car, and I'm like, I like that guy. He's awesome. You know, so yeah, positivity. So I think a big piece of that is, you know, for me, my faith is super, super important to me. Colossians 3:23 says, in all that you do, work at it with all your heart, as if you're working for the Lord and not for men. So even when you're down, even when you're having a bad day, you're like, hey, am I putting in the work? Am I doing the right things? Am I taking the next step of integrity in what I'm doing? And if you're putting in the work, you're putting in the time, you're growing, you're trying to get better, that positivity is going to come. You just keep going, right? Consistency compounds. John Maxwell talks a lot about that. So if you guys stay consistent, you keep doing the work, you keep getting better and better, you're going to get better. So I just know I'm going to get better. I'm getting better, right? My goal is growth. And if my goal is growth, then I know the results are going to follow. So I'm just like, all right, that was a bad day. What did I learn? How am I going to get better? All right, let's go. One day closer. I've hated winter my whole life living in Nebraska. People are like, oh, you live in Nebraska, you must get used to winter. I'm like, no, I hate winter. I hate the cold. It even got me a little bit when we got off here in Nashville. I'm like, this is freezing. Why is it so cold? But I did this mental shift a couple years ago in Nebraska. Every day when I get up, if it's freezing cold, and instead of going, this sucks, why do I live here? This is so cold. I'm like, one day closer to spring, baby. I am one day closer to spring. So if you guys have that mindset, I'm getting closer. I'm getting better. One more day. Just keep putting in the work, keep putting in the time, keep getting better. That's my mindset that always helps me. Just keep getting better. You know,
It's great.
I have no clue what my time is.
Mike's gonna clap it
But
up?
I think we're pretty close.